Alrighty, everybody. So game two is in the books this preseason. Man, those announcers in that game were funny. I don't know their names. Obviously, I knew Joe Thomas and all the guys that they had in there, but man, that guy had major announcer voice going on. It was like, we go live down to Nathan Zagura down on the field for another live sideline interview going on right now. And let's go down to Nathan Zagara. I couldn't get over it. The whole time I'm like, ugh, just want to mute this dude. Yeah, game number 2 in the books. We are 2-0 in the preseason. Woohoo. Interesting stuff going on. I don't think any major injuries. Of note, I know a couple guys were carted off, that were, you never like to see that kind of stuff, but nonetheless, it was a good one, right? We held on at the end, although we did make it kind of interesting. We allowed them to drive down the field, even get that last pass, but going to, I'm not even sure what the box score says. Keenum had that one nice opening drive where he threw a very catchable pass to Higgins. I don't know if he lost it in the sun or if he just took his focus off, but I think Higgins catches that ball. He also kind of put it on the inside shoulder of Higgins, if you really go back and look at that. So, yeah, Meander. Meander is actually a friend of a guy that I know. I think he played with him in college or high school or something. But Keenum, he throws it on the inside shoulder of Higgins. Higgins loses focus, drops it. Then they go right back the next play on 4th down, and Kadero Hodge is able to pull it in. Nice play. Very nice play. And then, I was really impressed with D'Ernest Johnson. D'Ernest Johnson, again, kind of like taking over that role for what Owusu-Koramoah was last week, right? Where he just looked like a dude who was a starter playing with second and third stringers. And D'Ernest Johnson himself is, a backup to the backup, I guess you could say, because, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb kind of platooning type situation. But D'Ernest Johnson played really, really nicely. Felton played nice. John Kelly played nice. So running the ball, we look good. Stanton, I like Stanton out there as well. Davis had a nice catch. Defensively, I think we did fine. Yeah, it was a good game all in all. So I would say that I was a little bit disappointed that Greedy wasn't out there. Would have liked to have seen him. Let's give some shout outs. Hambones here. What's going on, dude? Ryan Brown is in the house. Keith C. Jonathan Schlegel Esquire. Cleveland BCI or Cleveland BCG. I guess whatever you're gonna end up doing. I say keep BCI. I don't think it's offensive to anybody. Our LSU guys are glass. Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting how we just can't keep some of these guys healthy. But I'd like to know your guys' thoughts. Do you think we're going to see the starters play at all next week? Personally, I think we're going to get a quarter to a quarter and a half out of Baker and the starters next week. I don't think Jarvis and Odell will play. I don't think Nick Chubb will play. I don't know. I either look at it like this. You're either going to play him or not. You look at Kansas City. Kansas City's playing their guys. I'd rather them get reps in like a real game than not have them go in not having seen any action in like 9 months. So I'd really like them to get a little bit of action out there. That'd be fun. Keenum was throwing over and beyond his receivers. It was the talent of the receivers to bring down the ball. Yeah, and for everybody out there who's like, Case Keenum, the Keenum stand people who I always like to poke and prod at, the people who just hate Baker Mayfield, I just think it's ridiculous to say that they would rather have, or they want to see what Keenum can do with this talent. Case Keenum is who he is. He's hit his ceiling, and he's now like, I don't even think he can get to a ceiling anymore. He's not prime Case Keenum. That was even several years ago. He's out there as an emergency type situation that if Baker gets injured and we have to go, a couple plays a game or so, or whatever, he can do it. If you think back let's think back to the 80s, right? With those talented teams and how many times Kosar got just shelled and, was anything from breaking his leg, broke his foot or something like that, to all the type of damage he did. These guys take a pounding, and you got to have a serviceable backup, and I think that's what Case Keenum is. I think he's a serviceable backup. So that's where we stand with it. I think there are going to be some guys that are going to be out there. I thought Mike Glennon did pretty good too for the Giants. I think Mike Glennon is clearly a starter, or close enough to a starter in the NFL as a backup quarterback. I'd rather have Mike Glennon than Case Keenum, to be honest. But yeah. So other than that, guys in chat, let me know your thoughts on the game. I'd love to know what you think. It was the other thing that was kind of interesting to me. It was like when it was right at the end of the game, I was telling my wife, I'm like, if this was a real game, I'd be losing my mind right now. At the end of the game, it's nice to watch a game and know it doesn't matter, and know that these guys are just out there getting reps and, having fun and trying to make the team. And, it doesn't matter. Ultimately, it's an exhibition game. And to be honest, I don't think that the NFL should get rid of these games, because I know the players would prefer it because they don't want to go out there. But, there's guys who go out there who earn jobs during these games. There are people who show flashes of things that make other teams go, I think this is a guy that we want to keep an eye on, or, the own team that they're on have a chance to earn a job in, real game speed. I think it's important. But the other thing that's really kind of cool about it is you think about all the moving parts that you have going on in an NFL game. You've got I was just looking at Kevin Stefanski wearing the headset. All those people who do all those jobs, they need a dress rehearsal dry run as well to make sure they get all that stuff ironed out before they go live in the season. So I think it's just a good thing for everybody. The fans look like they're having a good time. I would have preferred if they had some cover on the players so they weren't just getting beaten by the sun the whole game. Because that is, from what I heard watching Twitter, people were saying that it was brutally hot out there. And I would have preferred to see that, I know that they have the fan with the mist spraying, which is fine, but it's not going to stop the sun from hitting you. So I hope these guys are using sun lotion and stuff like that, sunscreen, so they're not just getting crushed out there. I know in Florida out here, even when I'm wearing sun lotion, it's still brutal. So, yeah, Kosar was like a giraffe in the mud as far as mobility. Yeah, he was absolutely not the guy. But if you think about it, Tom Brady's not athletic as well. But the thing that Tom Brady and Kosar had in common is they were both laser accurate and they don't throw a lot of interceptions. Right? And interestingly, I believe it was Tom Brady who broke Kosar's record for most consecutive passes without an interception. So if you're not going to be mobile and you can't get out of the pocket, you better be able to, hit the bullseye. And Kosar was able to do that. So good game, good start to the season, right? I felt like good kind of like preseason opener, right? Let me see where is the Browns' next game? Browns schedule 21. Is it in Atlanta? It is. It's in Atlanta. It's an 8:00 game. Okay, so we're gonna be playing in the dome. I don't love that. I don't love turf, but again, I wouldn't mind if Baker just got a drive or two. That's it. Give him a drive or two. Let him smell the game again. Bring it back. and then just sit him. I don't care. Throw 2 or 3 passes. That's it. Get him out of there, right? I don't want to mess around. It's not worth it to go any longer than that because you're just putting a guy at risk for no real reason, right? Just read that Stefanski said Parkey had a quad injury. Well, that's great. So now our kicker, who uses his legs professionally to feed himself, has a leg injury. Well, we do have that rookie that's in there too that's competing. So, and we do also have, like a month till the season starts? Basically, a month. So, I mean, that's enough time to nurse a quad injury. I really hope that Parkey, we're not thinking about changing kickers. That's one of the keys that I think to this season that we have to watch out for is special teams and being able to execute in special teams. Championship teams make very high pressure kicks. They make those field goals. And to put that on a rookie, I don't like it. Parkey has been there. Parkey made the kicks last year. He is an extremely accurate kicker. And I'd like us to move forward with him personally. Hope he's good. Vaguely remember Kozar breaking plates in some accuracy contest. Yes, he did. There was an accuracy contest. Cleveland BCI, you're right. I remember that. I don't know if it was at the Pro Bowl or if it was one of those wonky like Saturday afternoon type things. Like, remember when they used to do the NFL's fastest man like contest, like have guys just like run and like who's the fastest guy in the league? And it was great. It was really dramatic. But yeah, I think you're right. There was one where Kosar just went out there and shredded everybody. Everybody was like, "What the hell?" But I think there was an interview that I watched, especially where the other quarterbacks were talking about it. It was like Randall Cunningham and like Elway and those guys, and they're like, "Yeah." And then Kosar goes out there and just starts just tearing it apart. Harry LaFountain, what's going on? LaFontaine. RO, what's going on? You're doing post game. I missed that. Yes, gonna do post game today. I doubt I'll do post game on or next Sunday because it's gonna be so late. Right? I might do like a halftime show. But I'm not gonna. Oh, the long pass contest. I don't remember the long pass. Although it sounds vaguely familiar. Right? And who was that guy? Who was the guy from Washington? Daryl, God, dude, what's his name? Who used to always win all the NFL speed contests. He was played in the league for like 18 years as like a safety and a cornerback. Man, I don't remember. Daryl something. Yeah, Kelly looked good. I don't know if you guys saw that. How cool would it be if John Kelly wore number 44? Right? Amongst Browns fans, there'd be a lot of people who would buy a number 44 Kelly jersey, right? With like the new style. I think that would be smart. What's the plan for the season? Plan for the season is just as always, Ara. We're doing pre and post game shows. So pre and post game show, most likely going to do empty backfield on Monday, and then of course the fan favorite Wednesday show with me and Bonzo1273 on Twitter. That would be Mike Ristano. So, and I'm trying to work out a deal with Cleveland Clothing Co. to give us the free. They give us a giveaway for the Victory Monday mug for the Wednesday show. So we're trying to work something out with these guys. I mean, it's not like I don't mind buying them for everybody, but I'd like to have an official, like some sort of official, partnership affiliation. I think that'd be pretty neat. Adam Vinatieri's youngest kid will be available soon. His team murdered my sons last year. Interesting. Daryl Green. That's right. It was Daryl Green. Thank you, Cleveland BCI. Baker Mayfield passed the longest pass in NFL history of the NFL game. Baker Mayfield passed the longest pass. I don't know what that means, John. Wasn't caught. Leroy. Leroy Kelly, correct. That's what I thought it would be cool. If you just wore number 44, it would be like such a cool thing. And the other thing that's interesting, why haven't the Browns retired numbers like Leroy Kelly? He's in the Hall of Fame. He's not like it's not like just a fan favorite. It's not like we're, trying to, retire Tommy Vardell. He's Leroy Kelly. They should respect the man, and they should retire his number. I think at this point they should probably retire 19 as well. Don't let people wear 19 again. There's one guy who wore 19. Watching other people wear it is just odd. It's just odd. That Hail Mary with the Ravens guy ran into the goalpost. I don't remember that. That could very well be the case. Yeah, interesting game. I was happy with what we saw. We good defensive line play. Yeah, I mean, good defensive line play, solid linebacker play. Didn't give up anything really bad. No terrible penalties, and the most important thing, everybody got some reps, and we didn't have any injuries of note. Of note, I would say. So it's not like we lost like Malcolm Smith or anything like that. I mean, guys that are actually going to have major contribution versus like, Meander is a practice squad guy. So, Ara says, well, we're getting a look at third and fourths on the depth, and a lot of these guys are fighting for space on other teams. Yeah, and the other thing too is, who knows what's going to go on with COVID again this year in terms of like when we need to pull people up, if what the protocol is going to be. So if I'm any of these guys, I am following whatever rules there are so they can be the next Blake Hance. If they have to show up and play a game, what a dream. I wonder if they're going to make like a Blake Hance movie one day. Phil is the GOAT. Yeah, I remember. I just loved Phil. Phil Dawson, what a great guy. Other than that one time where does anybody remember this? Does anybody remember the time where Phil Dawson's wife sang the national anthem? And it was a train wreck from start to finish. No disrespect to Phil, but his wife just murdered the national anthem. It was ugly. If anybody has a clip to that game or video, I'd love to watch that again. His ears were bleeding. It was good to see that run stop and the 2-point conversion. I agree, Guts. That was a great play. We have that 2-point conversion, double penalty with the face mask and pass interference. And then on like Jackson, I don't know who that guy is. And then they go back for it and decide to run it and just get plowed over. It was awesome to see that. Keith C., I enjoy watching the upcoming talent. I agree. I think it's fun to see them out there. It's fun to see some guys. But, I was talking to a friend at halftime, and we were discussing the Browns, and I was like, the guys that we have out there right now remind me of like previous Browns starting teams, right? Like the 2015, 2016, 2017 Browns. It reminds me of like, that's the level of talent that we're seeing with like our second-ish, third and fourth team guys. Again, we haven't even shown the Cleveland Browns yet. This is like, what? I'm glad Stefanski doesn't do this, but remember the Hugh Jackson era where they had the stripes off the helmet, which I absolutely despised because it gave the national media would take pictures and then use those pictures anytime there's a story. There's stories about Baker Mayfield, and they show like the preseason where he didn't have a stripe on his helmet. It was so stupid. And now, even another pet peeve of mine, even the NFL channel in the promo where they had Daniel Jones and Baker Mayfield, who neither of which are going to play in this game, they had them featured right before the game as they were talking at about 1 o'clock. And then they used, the Baker from 2019. Like, why? why do that? They're using those old jerseys. If you want to do the color rush jersey right there on Jarvis, fine. Use them with the stripes on the side, which I still think today are better than the color rush jerseys right there that Odell was wearing. But yeah, just really grinds my gears, as they say. Harry says, yeah, we're going to have to cut guys that will end up being starters elsewhere. That's very possible. It's very possible. I like Felton. I think Demetric Felton's good. I think he's going to make the squad. I don't think Kelly will. I think Kelly will be practice squad. I don't think we're going to carry that. I don't think we're going to carry 5 running backs. Well, maybe we do. I don't know. Now that Carlson's out, I mean, we're going to need another tight end. The Franks guy looked good, but then also had a couple. Franks looks the part as like a big tight end, but I don't know skill if he's quite there, but he's definitely like fourth tight end good. You know, because you've got Hooper and Njoku and Bryant, who are going to be the real guys who are going to do anything. Felton makes squad over Natson. Probably, I would say that. There's really not. The only thing Natson's going to see the field for is kick and punt returns. And to be honest, there's a lot of guys who can do that job. D'Ernest Johnson can do it, right? So why not? D'Ernest Johnson was returning kicks last year, and he's obviously not the fastest guy in the team or has the best hands, but he's got to do something. Get him on the field. He wasn't doing punts. I mean, we had Jarvis returning punts at one point. I wouldn't mind Schwartz being back there to do it. And he was asked that by the media asked him if he would do it. And he's like, yeah, totally. I'd be open to doing that. Sure. I know deep down he probably doesn't want to do that. Deep down he wants to be a wide receiver. But I think if he has to earn it, and there's no shame in kick return and punt return. Freaking Antonio Brown did that for a long time. Remember when he put his cleats into the face of our punter? Great problem to have. I agree, Harry. Do the Giants have the most bland, boring jerseys in the NFL? Yeah, they're pretty bad. It's like, hey, we're the Giants. We're blue. It's blue and a white number. I mean, the Giants, to be honest, have always had boring as hell uniforms. Even in the 80s, remember when their helmet like literally said the name of their team? It was Giants. You know, it was like there's no creativity, there's very little style. And I'm not saying that people have to love orange and brown and white, right? But at least for all intents and purposes, like, yeah, the red, white, and blue, and the particular shade of red, white, and blue that New York has is just gross. Spencer Lanning, that's right. I knew it started with an L. I couldn't remember the guy's name. What else? I'd take almost anything for Hooper. Never liked that pickup from the start. Well, okay, let's talk about that for a second, BCI. The thing that Austin Hooper gives you is the most complete tight end on the team in terms of blocking and catching, route running. So, right, you've got the most complete guy because he can do it all. David Njoku has always had question marks around blocking and has always had question marks around consistency catching the ball. I mean, he can make amazing catches. He's got all the athleticism in the world, and he's a beast. But consistency and then that second part of the job, because really what a tight end is, for the most part, is an offensive lineman who can catch. And Austin Hooper does that really, really well. And if you're a run first team like the Browns, I'd much rather have Austin Hooper there than Njoku or Harrison Bryant, who are more of the slash receiver type tight ends. But in reality, are they a George Kittle? Are they a Travis Kelce type? No, they're not. I mean, those guys are elite wide receiver threats. But I like Austin Hooper. I'm with you, BCI, because I was like, I didn't feel like we were necessarily like it wasn't a position we were hurting for extra talent in. But also keep in mind that Stefanski likes to go double tight end, and a lot of the league goes double tight end. That Belichick started that wave back with Aaron Hernandez and Gronk, and you just need depth. You need guys because Njoku, had essentially a season-ending injury in 2019 when he broke his wrist in that Jets game, and you never know. So more depth is always better than not having it. And to be honest, and David Njoku still has quite a bit to prove. I'll tell you this: I like Njoku. Don't get me wrong; the Chief is great. I love his touchdown celebration, and I love, what he can do. But I don't see David Njoku if he got traded or whatever. I don't see him going and just tearing up the league for another team. If he went to the Titans. He is what he is. He's pretty good. He's never quite lived up to that first round draft, where we took him. But he's not a bad player to have. How much would it take to get TJ Hawkinson from the Lions? I just don't think that they're in a position where they need to make a change on offense at this point with offensive personnel. We're really actually fine from head to toe on offense. And to add an extra player at this point, now that basically all of 2/3 of preseason's gone, it's not easy to just trade for a guy and install him right away. They have to learn the playbook. They got to learn a whole bunch of stuff. Yeah. And, but I will tell you from the Lions' perspective, they're not in a position to compete. So I would see the Lions are probably going to be, have a lot of guys on the market. I don't think they'll be fire selling anybody, especially somebody like Hawkinson, who's got a lot of upside and is very young. Poor Tebow, already getting booted from the Jags. Yeah, I mean, if you really think about it, I'm a huge Tebow fan. I actually have a very big Tebow fan community on Facebook that I started back when he was on the Broncos, and so I'm a big Tebow fan. Don't get me wrong, but to have a guy learn a new position at 32, 33 years old, it was never going to happen. So he looked lost out there for the Jags. Once Coach K expands the playbook out, tight ends will get more looks, resulting in better passing numbers. I think Andrew, I would agree. I think that this is the nice thing about this season is we do get to build on that, right? So we get the second year with the playbook, the second year with Van Pelt and with Stefanski, even though it's definitely 100% Stefanski's unit. But you do get to layer in more stuff. It was also kind of interesting that we did a reverse. We did a little razzle dazzle in the preseason, which is odd to see. So it was kind of fun seeing that. Would you take Justin Tucker for Hooper? I don't know. I mean, maybe. But the reality is the Ravens aren't getting rid of Justin Tucker, and they already have Mark Andrews, so they don't need Hooper. So that wouldn't be the case. But I'm not saying that Hooper's not replaceable. There's definitely, if somebody offered us, the kitchen sink for him, I would say let's talk about it. But I also don't think he's just somebody you should throw away. So I miss Dawson, Parky, or whoever in a meaningful game scares the crap out of me. Yeah, I think Parky scares a lot of people because he tends to hit the upright a lot, but he's a pretty good kicker. Nobody's ever going to be Phil kicker, but Parky's not bad. Does Rossano have the same preseason load management as OBJ and Baker? Yes. We absolutely, we want to save Rossano for the regular season. We don't want to get it. We don't want to put him out there too early, right? Because, God forbid he gets hurt, he says something that he regrets. You don't take a talent like Mike Ristano and throw him out there for every preseason game like some fourth stringer who's trying to make the live Brownie post game squad. You get talent like that. You make sure that they've got fresh legs for the regular season, and we need Mike for the Wednesday shows the whole season long. I mean, Mike's now that they're having fans in the stadiums again, Mike's going to be at most home games. We're going to try to dial him in. We're going to work out some of the logistics to dial him in at the tailgating spots, right, to give us a live update, weather, fan sentiment, maybe some live interviews in the Muni lot, right? So, yeah, I mean, Ristano is somebody that you just got to keep him fresh, because you know what? You don't want to burn out a content creator like that. And the Wednesday show, in my estimation, is just too important to waste on a random Giants preseason game 2. So yes, I would say Squabble Lane. We're holding on to him, and he's suited up. Don't get me wrong, he's on the sidelines. He's suited up, but we're not dialing him in just yet. I saw Ristano and Parkey kicking a hacky sack in Delaware on Instagram. That would be amazing. If you would do that. I can see Ristano kicking a hacky sack. He's got the hair. He was in some metal bands, not quite like jam bands. But, I mean, he's a drummer. I'm sure he could probably kick a hacky sack around. The reverse was the OBJ Texas two-step special, 3rd and 4 yards, and goes for 25. Was it that same play, Andrew? It looked familiar, but man, and that again, it goes to show you the difference. Even on that opening drive with Mike Glennon, where he rolled out, it was 3rd down, rolled out. There's a guy on the sidelines. He threw it. He basically threw it at his feet, a wobbly pass as he was rolling out to the right, and the guy looked like he definitely could have caught it if he would have hit him in the hands, but he just kind of like wobbled it to him. And that's the difference between a backup quarterback and a starting quarterback in the NFL. A guy like Russell Wilson is going to roll out and hit that guy. Baker Mayfield is going to roll out and hit that guy in stride, right? Mike Glennon's going to get you to the 50-yard line, and then on 3rd down, he's going to roll out and throw it at a guy's shoes. And that's the difference between a first and second string guy. A reverse to OBJ can, at any place on the field, has an opportunity. Anytime you get the ball in OBJ's hands, there's an opportunity for that thing to go to the house. He's that good. The difference between guys like, and again, no disrespect to the backup players or the guys trying to make the team, but Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry are just on a different level than these second and third string guys. And it's so apparent when you go out there and you look at them, and guys are dropping balls that hit them right in the hands. You'll get an occasional drop from Jarvis and OBJ, but the majority of the time, these guys are doing their job. Mr. Bsif, what's going on? Hi, Brownies. Hope we're doing well. Yes. From Morocco. What's going on? The JOK play? Yes, he did. He wasn't there stat. Yeah, I'm 99% sure he played. But that's totally okay. Just don't get injured. It's really the only thing that matters. Kickers don't get traded. Yeah, they really don't. If you really think about it, when was the last time a kicker got traded? Did Vinatieri get traded? Or was he just like picked up? I don't know. I have to go back and look at that. Kickers don't. I hope Parkey's injury is not bad. I really don't want to go, because I think that is one of those Achilles heel moments or things that could bite us this year, is poor special teams. And I think that special teams play, you have to have quality special teams, coverage, punting, and obviously kicking. in order to win championships. There's just so many games, and because the NFL skill level is so good at every position, that it oftentimes comes down to 3 or less points, which are difference makers in the games. And you don't want to put your team in a position that they have to fight for touchdowns, or or they can't convert the extra point because your kicker is just not with it. So I don't want to go into the season with an unproven kicker. And I think at this point that he is. Derek Jones is here. What's going on, man? Derek Jones, thank you for rejoining the Patreon. Appreciate that, my friend. And anybody else who's looking to support the channel, especially up till we get the ability to actually join or subscribe to the channel, that's coming soon. If you want to help us out on Patreon, feel free. Just cost $1. And if you want to go further and you want to get your name in bold, or I'm sorry, capitalized on the bottom ticker, give a little bit more. Anybody who's, if you can't do that, totally okay. Not asking, we're definitely not begging for money by any means. But if the one thing everybody can do is just hit the like button. That's it. Just hit the like button. That helps us out tremendously as well. Tight end 4 slot will probably be filled by Stanton. I'll tell you what, I don't hate that. I don't hate that as an option. It looked like he can catch. It looks like he can run. They were talking about him as a utility guy out there. I think that's great. I think it's great to have guys who can do more than one thing. And to be honest, since he played a little bit of quarterback in college, this is a guy who could probably be an emergency quarterback. He knows how to take a snap. I'd rather have a guy who played quarterback in college be an emergency quarterback than like Odell or Jarvis, who have never taken a snap under center. Because I got to tell you, taking a snap and fielding a snap from a center, you think is the easiest thing in the world. It's not the easiest thing in the world. It takes a lot of practice to reach under there and make sure that ball and there's a proper transition, right? So anybody who's got experience doing that, I trust more than just a really good athlete. They had JOK and Newsome in different roles again today. Newsome in the slot. Interesting. It looked like Newsome played fine. 17-13 was the score, Javian. Thank you, Harry. They had JOK in the new. I don't feel comfortable letting Stanton or Davis go. They're playmakers. Davis is a guy, I think at the wide receiver position, I just don't know how many guys we're going to be able to hold on to. Because realistically, you're going to have at any given time Odell, Jarvis, Higgins, and DPJ, and then you've got Kadero Hodge, right? Would you take Davis over Hodge? I wouldn't. But I think Davis is probably a practice squad guy. And the interesting thing about practice squads, you have to be real confident. If you're somebody who's going to pick up a practice squad, not a cut guy, but a practice squad guy from a team. Like if somebody comes and says, I want to take Davis off the Browns practice squad, they have to then commit minimum of 3 games to that player. So they will dress for 3 games if you pull somebody from a different team's practice squad. That means 3 game checks, which is, the game check's not a big deal, but they have to make a commitment to actually dress that player. You can't just steal people from practice squads and put them on your practice squad. So I don't think there's that much risk there. But who knows? Maybe some other team liked him before this, and they'll look at it and say, hey, when the Browns let him go, we're going to grab him. But I think he's done really well. Stanton, I think, has got a really good chance of making the team. Tight end Davis is probably the practice squad guy. Probably, yes. Go Brown, says Skrills. What's going on, B. Skrills? Tight end 4 needs to be able to block. I don't think he'll do that. I don't disagree with you on that, Ara. I don't disagree. If you're asking about, Derek, Greedy, yeah, is Greedy Newsome better? Battle pretty much over at this point. He's hurt. And my thought on Greedy, and I brought this up when I was invited on the Browns Pulse video interview the other day. I think Greedy's I think Greedy's got potential to be cut. Not because I don't think he's good. I think he's got potential, but a guy can't stay on the field. My dad thinks they're going to give him the season no matter what, but being that fragile is just it's just annoying. Mike, do really get trolled on here by Ravens, Bengals, and Steelers fans, or is it just Ravens fans? To be honest, very, very rarely do we get trolled. I usually don't even mess with it unless they're using profanity in some way or making racist or offensive comments. Then I'll kick somebody out immediately. But if they're just coming here to troll, usually they come, they poke in, then poke out. As long as you ignore them, they go away. I like Hodge. He made a clutch catch last year. Yeah, Hodge is not bad. He's just not OBJ, Jarvis, or even Higgins level. He's just below Higgins. And I think the real key is we got to get Peoples-Jones on the field as much as possible because that guy's got the biggest upside, I think, out of all of them. Our core is good. Yeah, the wide receiver core is good. He is good. Rockstar Slush, he is a go backup. We have to hide him. I might take him over Hodge, maybe. I don't know who you're referring to, but okay. 1 OBJ 1, Jarvis 92, 3-4 is Hollywood DPJ, 5 Hodge, correct. I agree with that. What about the rookie wide receiver, the speed burner? Oh, Austin Sanchez? I don't know why we haven't really seen him, but I think they're high on him. A guy with 4.2 speed who can even play average at the position is going to be a weapon. So I do like him. I like Schwartz, but I think we have to use him in right now where we can get him on the field, which is going to be kick returning situations, punt and kick return. Greedy's a lost cause, says Mr. Beesif. Newsome looks so much better. I just don't know what's going on with Greedy. I don't know if he was featured on the Building the Browns. It's all right, that's pretty cool. They showed him, but I just don't know where he fits anymore. We talked about this a little bit last week as well. This isn't a guy who was drafted by Andrew Berry and Stefanski. He was a Kitchens Dorsey guy. And it's like when you get a new manager at your job, you got to prove yourself to the old manager. And being hurt and not being able to be there isn't going to get you, any points. Ultimately, these guys, it's a business. They want to win games. They're going to put the guys out there who are going to give them the best chance to win. It's cliche to say that, but the reality is that's the truth. And if Greedy Williams can't stay healthy, he's not giving them a good chance to win. And if we can get a guy like an AJ Green who is going to be healthy, and by giving him reps in practice and then even in dime situations, and he could possibly get better, then we need to give it to AJ Green. We need to give it to the guy who can. Delpit and Greedy are career backups now. I don't. Again, Delpit hasn't been proven at all. At least Greedy had games. And that's the crappy thing is how do you lose your career? Something that you've been so good at in your first, second round talent type stuff, and then you never even get to see it going out of freak injuries. Freak injuries. It's just so unfair. Schwartz is a cool guy. Cedar Point will help and re-sign us right. He is a roller coaster fanatic. I gotta love grown adults who love roller coasters. Felton is running back 4 and wide receiver 6. Yeah, he's another one of those utility guys. I wonder if that's going to start becoming a thing, Felton and Stanton. It's okay, well, if you're not going to be a slotted 1, 2, or 3, can you be a wide receiver and a running back and a kick returner? Can you add a little bit of value somewhere on that team? You kind of have to in order to make yourself valuable enough to be kept. I think Felton looks good enough. He definitely looks good enough to stay. And I just don't know how many running backs we're going to keep. Are we going to hold 5 running backs? Is John Kelly good enough to be held? he looked okay today against third and fourth stringers, but the first string guys, the guys who bang with Chubb and Hunt, are they gonna chew like a John Kelly apart? I don't know. I don't know. He didn't dominate. He did well, but it wasn't like he was ripping off, 30-yard runs every time. Isaiah Casino, what's going on, man? Welcome back. I think that's the first time I've seen you this season. Welcome, dude. Being Florida, how many actual Jaguars fans do you see in your daily travels? Does Jacksonville deserve a team? I heard they had the lowest national fan base, followed by Tennessee. There's almost, I'm in Central Florida. Jacksonville's like 3 hours northeast, and you really don't see any here in Central Florida. We're also Tampa Bay's market, so you do see the occasional Tampa Bay bumper sticker or like Florida license plate that's Tampa Bay. Almost never do you see a jersey or t-shirt that's like Buccaneers. Very, very rarely do you get that. However, when I lived in South Florida, I lived in Broward County for about a little over 10 years. It was Dolphins everywhere. Dolphins are the biggest thing. Oh, gosh, could I say that? So the Dolphins are the biggest thing in the state. I think it's probably, if I had to guess, out of all the sports, Dolphins would be number one, Buccaneers two, probably Lightning would be three, or maybe one of the colleges like University of Florida or Florida State or Miami might even be three over the Lightning. I don't know. I have to look at the numbers, but it's definitely Dolphins, Buccaneers, and the Jags. I don't know. To say that do they deserve a team, Squabble Lane? I don't know. I wouldn't say that they it's not like they have no fans like the Arizona, like the Phoenix Cardinals in the 80s. Just literally nobody went to it because it was a giant bowl of heat, I thought in Florida, even now where the Jags and Bucks are, the Finns are still bigger. Yeah, I'd probably still say the Dolphins are the biggest, and then the Buccaneers. Because the Buccaneers just don't have the history that the Dolphins do. And it's great that they have Tom Brady right now, but it's the same thing as like the Miami Heat when they had LeBron or like Shaq. Like it's good for like a year or two, but like they don't have the longevity to say like, as soon as Tom Brady's gone, all those people wearing those Buccaneers shirts are taking them off. That's the truth. Florida fans are very, very fair weather. If you're good, they're showing up. If you're not, or you don't have a star, they're not going to games. It's a very odd thing. Having grown up in the Northeast, where you see just the most loyal fans anywhere. They are diehard fans like Boston, the New York teams, Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, Phillies, and then you got like obviously the Browns, who I think have the most loyal fan base in all of sports, right? So it's just odd coming down into Florida. And if you're not good, or if you don't have a star, they don't care. I just don't. And I also don't think outside of Tom Brady, in the state of Florida, outside of Tom Brady, you don't have a player who's marketable outside of your general market. Right? Who's like marketable on the national or global level. Like a LeBron or like a Tom Brady. We have one player in the state, that's Tom Brady, and he's being rented currently. Enough about Florida. St. Broncos fan, live in Colorado. Yeah, probably. I can see that. Our people in Florida are not from Florida, EGU. Correct. Majority of people, I think, are transplants from either another state in a lot of cases, and it's growing like crazy every day, or other countries. A lot of Central and South Americans live in Florida, South Florida. South Florida is eastern, the East Coast is West Palm Beach all the way down to Miami. That's a lot of people from other countries who immigrate here. Harry got the Browns 27, Chiefs 23. I'm betting the under 53. Betting the under. Just Andrew, you just hate living life, man. Betting the under. Couldn't believe St. Louis in the 80s wouldn't support football. The football Cardinals forced them to flee to Phoenix. St. Louis effed up the NFL access over and over. Yeah, I don't know much about Missouri. I think I might have driven through Missouri one time on my way to New Orleans when I was living in Pennsylvania, but I've never been there. So I don't know anything about St. Louis, but I know that, didn't they have like a lot of riots in St. Louis over the last couple of years? I don't know what that just kind of sounds like that. Plus, I also think the St. Louis is a baseball town, which is so weird to say. Like, how many pure baseball towns exist? Like a Chicago, is that a baseball town with the White Sox and the Cubs over the Bears? Or is it a football town because, like, you know, in the 80s and 90s it was a basketball town. But I would say that Chicago would be as close a market that you could say is a baseball first market other than St. Louis. I wouldn't say Boston. I wouldn't, because I think it's too close to the Patriots. I wouldn't. Maybe New York. Would you say New York with the Yankees and the Mets? I don't know if anybody can do that. I don't know. Andrew also said Orlando, Florida has tossed their hat in the ring along with Austin, Texas for the Bills. There's zero chance that Orlando gets the Bills. Zero. We've got the dog shit Citrus Bowl in the middle of the damn city. It is an awful concrete stadium. They would have to do massive. They basically have to tear the damn Citrus Bowl down, which I'm totally fine with because it's a crappy stadium. It's an awful stadium. It needs to go anyway. But we're not going to get the Bills or any other team here in Orlando because, like, we honestly don't have the market to support it. The whole city of Orlando is built on travel and hospitality and like timeshare companies. We don't have a lot of like healthcare companies. Like healthcare companies and timeshare companies are what we have in Florida and Orlando. You think like Disney and all that stuff. Disney is a California company. This is a branch of Disney here. So we don't have a lot to support an NFL team, right? We don't. And we're too close. We're an hour and a half from Tampa. This is Tampa market. Tampa would reject that in a heartbeat. Austin, Texas would be interesting for the Bills. Austin, Texas is growing like wildfire. And they have the University of Texas there, so they have a stadium that they could either actually they wouldn't put an NFL team in a college stadium. But it'd be interesting. You know, if they could work out a deal where like NFL games were played on a college campus. That'd be funny. But Austin, Texas is a cool place. You have really good tacos there. Boston's Red Sox first. All right. Cincinnati with the Reds. Yeah, I just don't think of Cincinnati ever for anything. But Boston, an argument could be made for Boston. Los Angeles with the Angels and the Dodgers. Currently, I would say probably yes, because I don't think that there's really a whole lot of fanaticism around the Chargers and the Rams. But when it was like the Rams and the LA Raiders, I got to tell you guys how fun it was growing up in the 80s with the LA Raiders. It was like the cheesiest, the cheesiest city in the country, LA, and then the cheesiest team, the Raiders. And then they had remember the LA Gear shoes, which were like really bad like Nike ripoffs. Just like the LA Raiders in the Coliseum with LA Gear shoes. They did have Bo Jackson though, which is, I mean, there's nothing not cool about that. Bo Jackson was freaking awesome. I see these kids on TikTok. Yeah, Ara, you're right. I would say LA is a Laker town. So LA's basketball first, not baseball. Basketball first. But I see these kids on TikTok that are talking trash, and they're like talking about the players today being better than the players growing up. I mean, Bo Jackson was probably the single greatest athlete for the short period of time that we got to see him. Maybe in the modern era of any sport, of sports. You could probably put Deion Sanders up there too, but Deion Sanders was not as good at baseball as Bo Jackson was. LA Gear was awful. BKs though, British Knights. Yeah, I remember British Knights. I never rocked them, but I do remember they came on pretty strong. They were like, BKs were like Reebok. They were the competitor of Reebok. You know, nobody was touching Nike. When the Jordan 4s came out, it was over. Nike had it all. By the time Jordan 4 came out. British Knights. LA. Oh. The LA Chargers. It's gross. Girl I met in St. Louis made so much at Hooters because of the Cardinals home game. She paid off student loans and graduated debt-free. God bless her. $80K cash a year. $80K at Hooters. Wow. The light-up shoes. Did LA Gear light up first, or was it like who? I'd love to know who came out with the first light-up shoe. Bo Jackson and Tecmo Bowl, forget it, beast. Tecmo Bowl and Super Tecmo Bowl. Bo Jackson was basically unstoppable. And he only played in like 14 games. Maybe even less. Maybe 12. Because he played baseball. He's like, no, I'm a baseball player, and I'll show up and put on some pads when I feel like putting on pads. And he played for the Royals. And the Royals, I know they've had some teams of late that have been pretty good. Even beat my New York Mets in the World Series. But man, in the 80s, the Royals post George Brett, you know, I'm talking about like the Kevin Seitzer Royals. I mean, Bo Jackson, man. Isaiah's schedule only tough because of the bye week, not until 13, but caught a break. How weird is it, guys? I want to know your thoughts. How weird is it that we've got bye week, we've got Ratbirds, bye week, Ratbirds. These schedule makers, man. All right, hey, we've been at it for an hour, so let's do the giveaway. Giveaway for, hold on, I have to sign into chat so I can do the giveaway. Giveaway for the Sabo Apparel shirt. Okay? I'm going to do 1 to 100 now for... All right, type in a number. You only get to type in one number, 1 to 100. I have my number in right now. My number is in. So you will not see my hands on the keyboard again until I click to go. Give me a number 1 to 100. I don't know what to do with my hands, so you guys know that I'm not changing the number. Yeah, Sabo Apparel's back this year, giving away t-shirts, which is awesome. I'm also working on Cleveland Clothing Co. There's another fantasy draft company, like a DraftKings type company. Not DraftKings and not the other one, which is I just forget the other one. It's not the two big ones. It's a new upcoming one. It reached out to me saying that they wanted to do like an affiliate deal, and I was like, I don't want to do affiliate deal. So
we got some stuff going on. Plus, you're going to be able to subscribe to the channel soon with that join button. So not really worried about the monetization at this point. But it's awesome that Sabo's willing to come back. Brian over there at Sabo Apparel. It's a Cleveland small business. It is he's a vet. It's veteran owned, and great Browns fans, great people. You know, it's just great. So support Sabo Apparel any way you can. I usually wear my CLE the Cleese Sabo Apparel hat, but it's in the car, and this is the one that was here next to me, so I grabbed it. And I like this. I like this hat, but this isn't a go-to hat for me. This isn't my seasonal hat. Like just like we were talking about with Ristano, you don't wear your season hat during the preseason. You don't waste it during the preseason. Right? There's too much camera time to waste on a your starting hat, not starting. Headwear for the regular season. Okay, final call for the Sabo Apparel shirt. Type in a number 1 to 100. There we go. What you got monetized on YouTube? When did you get that sorted out? Oh yeah. Well, I haven't been monetized yet, but I was accepted into the AdSense program that I had been kicked out of for 10 years for something that I did in like 2010 that I don't even know what I did. I think I got kicked out of AdSense because I had more than one account. You're only allowed to have one account. And I didn't know that because I didn't read the terms and conditions because I was an idiot and learning how to do digital marketing. And they added a new button. I checked it. I'm like, let me see if I can apply again. And I checked it, and it was like a change association. So I tried to change the association, right, to see if I could apply in, and it looks pretty good. Okay, the number was 22. Looks like Ara had 21. Alex was close, but it looks like Ara is going to win. And Ryan Brown at 21. We've got a playoff. Right? Am I right? Just bought a new house. So excited to deck out in the Browns in the man cave. Dude, Isaiah, you should get on the Cleveland Clothing Co. has the Victory Monday flag. You should put that in your man cave. I would say that. Okay, Ryan Brown versus Ara. For the shirt. Okay, Ryan Brown and Ara, give me a number 1 to 100, and I'm going to put my number in right now. Let's go with... Got my number in. So, okay. Hell yeah. Great job today, Mike. Very tough being solo, talking Browns over and over an hour. This is what I usually do, by the way, on the Empty Backfield on Monday show. So this is what I call it, Empty Backfield, because it's just me. No blockers, no support. Just going five. Maybe I should call it 5 wide Empty Backfield. Ara, give me a number. Ara and Ryan Brown. You have to type in a number from 1 to 100. You guys tied with 21. This is the flaw with the number system to give things away, is that people can tie. And that's tough. All right, Ryan's got 43. Ara, type in a number, please, por favor. And then we'll get out of here for the day, since we've been at it for over an hour. The number was 38, so Ryan, you win. Ryan, send me an email. Send me an email at browniepostgame@gmail.com with your address, with your size, your address, and if you could go to Sabo Apparel and pick out a shirt that is in stock, that'd be great. So go to Sabo Apparel, pick out a shirt, give me your size and address, and give me the shirt. And send me an email to browniepostgame@gmail.com, and we'll get that out to you. Like the trivia we did last year. Yeah, my dad wants to do trivia again. I'll be honest with you guys. The thing that I don't like about it is I have to have the item. Like if I want to give away the Nick Chubb, Funko Pop, then I have to physically go and ship it, and it's a pain in the butt to do. So I'd rather just rely on partners or buy something online and just ship it directly. That's what I'm doing with this with the OBJ jersey giveaway. I'm just shipping it directly from Fanatics. I don't gotta touch anything. Plus, they do free shipping. If I ship it, it's gonna cost me like anywhere between like $5 and $20 to ship something, which is just dumb. Empty backfield is perhaps the coolest, coolest name ever for an NFL show. Appreciate that. Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Ryan. Thank you guys. Thank you very much for joining us. Thank you. Big thanks to Sabo Apparel. Big thanks to Jonathan Schlegel and dogwoofs.com. Check it out. Check out dogwoofs.com. Bookmark that. Go back and check out so you can see what's going on with that. More giveaways. We're going to be doing Sabo Apparel. We're going to be doing that kind of stuff. We got to have, we'll check in with Restano here. I promise you he will be back for the Wednesday show. And we got some new songs and stuff coming up from my guy Bear Kincaid. We're gonna finish the episode here with Bear Kincaid's "Cleveland Against the World," which is an awesome song. And we'll see you next week. Early, it's an 8:00 game, so we'll probably go live at like 6. So we'll have enough time to do the pregame show and get all set up for the game. So join us next week, 6:00 for the Falcons, the final preseason game. Get us right in regular season form and be ready to rock. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Go Browns.
My city is on the brink tonight. We're about to go. I'm hearing the crowd begin to rise in stereo. Sky's bringing on and getting in off the lake. Thunder rolls. And all the people shouting out a name. We lighten the burning river fire, flames start to grow. My adrenaline keeps climbing higher, fuse about to blow. We feeding up the critics and